Hi, Josh. First off, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I'm really excited to chat with you about Checkpoint Zoo. Um, is
Thank
it
you.
is it cool if I get started?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, perfect. So you are no stranger to documentaries. I've watched quite a few of them, and that was a surprise to me. Just before watching your latest one, it's like, oh, I have seen his work before. So,
Yeah, a little
Cross is
different.
probably one of my favorites. So.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, what is it about the genre that really speaks to you and keeps you returning?
That being the uh, kind of horror doc genre or just documentaries in general.
Documentaries in general.
Oh, it's directing without a net. Uh, it's 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 uh, it's exciting. I mean, where else can you go to Ukraine and try and create a documentary not even speaking the language? And putting together a documentary as we did with hundreds of hours of clips being sent to you from Ukraine, not knowing much of the story and kind of putting it all together. I do a lot of true crime, and this, in some ways, was a bit of a detective story in terms of trying to put this story together without speaking the language. And so it was great. But I mean, the emotion in this story in particular was just yes, you can get that in narrative film, but when it's real and when you're seeing what these people are doing in real life, there's nothing like it.
I agree. I agree. Even just as a viewer, just knowing that it's real, there's just that just extra emotional weight onto it.
Yeah, you always love. I love seeing narrative films, but I remember when I was young and going to Sundance as a young filmmaker, the documentaries were always the like, okay, what crazy stuff are we going to see? What crazy story, right? Truth is stranger than fiction story are we going to see?
Right, right. So ultimately, what inspires you to create Checkpoint Zoo?
I did a previous film about whales called The Loneliest Whale. And I found that there was just something magical, um, intangible about making films about animals. Maybe it was also the people's reactions. I had pitched a lot of stories as a filmmaker, documentary and otherwise. But when you pitch and when you make stories about animals for people, you cut through everything immediately and seeing their faces. And so it's that connection that we all want to have, especially a director, I guess, to his audience. Yes, I make films for me, but ultimately I make films for other people to move them. And documentaries about animals have such a unique ability to do that.
Why do you think that is?
I don't, that's the coolest question, really, isn't it? Why? Maybe because we're dealing with something that is another earthling, for lack of a better word, uh, something that we know is sentient, but yet we can't truly communicate with it. So we can prescribe all these emotions on what an animal may be thinking. And we have some indication. We can tell when an animal is scared. We can tell when an animal loves us. So we can see something, but it also requires us to fill in the blanks. And I think that that is a unique situation for anyone.
Yeah, that's one of those I don't know if we'll ever get the answer, but it's just really interesting to understand that there is such a bond between humans and animals and just almost how similar we are.
right, how similar yet how different. I always talk about how people will step over a homeless person to, you know, to pet a cat or to pet their dog. Yeah,
Right.
and it's like that a little bit. They're such they are theoretically, innocent. They don't care in this story. They don't care about borders. They don't care about treaties. They don't care about what was unified countries beforehand. They don't care about NATO. They care only about that immediate relationship with, their the other, us. And so that's a really interesting relationship to explore.
What is it like for you as a documentarian to have a subject that can't really advocate for themselves and tell their story?
It's a good question, actually. I mean, in this story, we have these rescuers, these people who are they're heroes in saving all these animals. But it just maybe forces the audience to pay attention a little bit more, but not in a bad way. It's not like work for them to pay attention to this. It's they know it, they feel it. Maybe it's because we're not using words necessarily, but we're using emotion. It just gets right to the heart of the matter. You can look into an animal's eyes, wanting to know what it's thinking, what it feels. And that's for these animals or for our pets at home or for anything.
Yeah. No, they have a way of tugging at our heartstrings. For,
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Um, my final question for you is ultimately, what do you hope people take away from Checkpoint Zoo?
War, war by definition of what it is, it's meant to strip away our humanity, by definition of its brutality. And what's interesting is how these people who are unbelievably empathetic, selfless, caring, how they what they are willing to do to save another. And I think right now we are in a unique time in which compassion, empathy, and selflessness are really, at a premium. We need stories that talk about these things. And this saving animals is really a great way to do this. There's a guy in the film who talks about, listen, anybody can save a lion, but, are you willing to put your life on the line for a guinea pig? And while some people may not agree, it does force us to question the sanctity of all life and what it means to be compassionate and selfless and empathetic.
Definitely things that we need to be thinking about and reflecting on in this day and age,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely. Because we're
And
not getting we're not getting it anywhere else, that's for sure.
very true, very true. Um, Thank you so much for chatting. I absolutely loved the documentary.
Oh,
Uh,
thank you, Ben.
and it was amazing getting to talk to you about it. So
Oh, I appreciate it.
thank you so much for making it.
Oh, of course. Thanks, Beth. Much appreciated.